What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? What is good with y'all? I told y'all we was about to go in, get it in, go down. I said it was. So, yes, it is back. Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, and I got La Familia. La Familia. We about to talk about some Cowboys football. My dog, Log
Yeah.
Nation. I missed you, big homie. How you been doing?
Dog, I just been trying to take it one day at a time, man, one movement at a time, man. You know how this thing go, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Cowboy Nation all day, every day, even twice on Sunday, baby.
You know how we do. You know how we do. And we're going to talk about some good Cowboys football. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody's good that's up in here right now. Keep on telling your friends, your cousins, your sisters, your aunties, your babies, everybody. Get on in here and talk about this Cowboys football with Law and Big Game James. So what's up, Joe Lucas, Mr. Trucker 500? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Mm.
Gambino, how you doing? Keep on coming on in there. Carolina family, yeah, Carolina Cowboys. You know we're going to talk about Carson Wentz. He's going to be at the top of the story. But first, before we jump into anything, before we talk about them Cowboys, you know what, Law? I want you to talk about one event that you got coming up with the Cowboys experience, which is going to be huge. And then I want you to talk about the little bit of events that you've been doing with Barry and the Cowboys experience. Really break down and explain it, because we saw you on ESPN. You got your big dog on the ESPN looking all fresh with the boys. Tell me how that was like. You got to kick it with DeMarcus Ware, Tony Dorsett, Mad
Right.
Dog. Tell me how that's been these past few weeks.
I mean, Cowboys Experience got the wrong name, man. It should be Ultimate Cowboys Experience.
Right.
It's one of those things, Cowboy Nation, where now you guys can identify with the players. That's all we want. Especially for those who just don't like the Cowboys, for those who love the Cowboys and want to be in the mix. June the 15th, 2019, if you know what I mean, we got to keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see y'all lovely faces out here in Lava Cantina, where it's going down like 5,000 pounds. And I'm telling you, man, Alan Hearns, he's one of my boys from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Short area quickness. Remember that? Got the good hands, catch the ball through the middle.
Yep.
He can't take the top off the defense, but he can find those small spots in the zone. And I'm thinking that this year, with Dak Prescott, with the John Kitners of the worlds, and also Kelly Moore sprinkling in some new flavor out there, that you might even see a better Alan Hearns. I know that right now, Big Game James, the sexy car right now is all of the speedsters, but still, don't forget, we still need that physical receiver that can catch the ball in the backfield and also catch the ball with those short area quickness inside. So I'm thinking that right now, this is going to be a good year for Alan Hearns if he can stay healthy. So we got an event, especially the main focal point of this event, Big Game James, is Mama. You know, if I can sing, I'll be singing, Mama, you know I love you. So his mama is really putting on this event. She got a book out there that I would like for you guys to come on out there, shake her hand, and get to know her a little bit better and get to know him a little bit better as well.
Oh, that's exciting, man. I know that's something that's I seen her. Tyson had her, West Coast had her, and number one, Alan Hearns, he has been an inspirational story. He's battled back very quickly. A lot of Cowboys coaches love him because of his hard work, and he has a really good attitude. So it'd be really hard to cut them on the emotional tip from the Cowboys because how much they like this guy. So, like you said, he's going to have to stay healthy, though. He has to stay healthy. I feel like he has any little bumps in the road, I'm not going to say a cut, but he could be right there. Plus, if you cut him, you save money. So we'll just see about that. You got those young guys might not be ready. A lot of people have been talking about John V. Johnson with that speed, taking the top off the defense. Guyton is that same thing. Jalen Guyton, he had a little bit of the drop season. Then you had your video with Reggie, is it?
Davis.
Reggie Davis. I'm sorry, I don't even know this dude all like that. But he's had a couple good sessions. So you know what? The receiving core, and then we ain't even been talking about Cedric Wilson. What's going on with him? I know we just said we're going to do this and that, but we freestyling today. This is freestyling. That's the name of the topic. So we freestyling right now. What's up with Cedric Wilson, Law? Because I ain't heard nothing about him.
It's all about the speedsters, and he's in the category of Alan Hearns. Now, he's not as slow as Alan Hearns. Shout out to Alan Hearns again. But what I'm saying is the speedsters, man. And he's not going to probably shine until the training camp comes around the corner. And just give the guy a little bit more longitude and latitude, Cowboy Nation. I do know that we really want to see him out there, hear news. But for right now, you know what? Everybody trying to earn the star. And
Right.
even though he was on the team last, he still got to earn the star.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we got to wait for. You got to wait for this guy to earn that star all the way.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got to see it. But is his shoulder? Because I've been seeing, has he fully recovered from that shoulder injury? Because I know that's what knocked him out last year. They said he's still kind of not. I'm not saying that he's rehabbing it, but it's kind of like what's really going on with that kind of situation.
I mean, the shoulder situation is this right here. It's a fickle process because you can't really extend, you can't really dive for the ball. I mean, you're always going to be worried you're going to favor the opposite shoulder. So as a wide receiver, you want that area to be fully healthy before you get out there on the field. It's different. Remember, Emmitt Smith had a bum shoulder and he was still able to wrap it up, put it on ice, and run. But wide receivers, man, there's so many things that you got to do for that upper body, and especially reaching, and if you got to catch back shoulder phase and things like that, that shoulder comes into a major factor. So hopefully they just ease them in slowly, just like they're going to ease in Allen Hurns, just like if we flip over to the defensive side of the ball, they easing in Tacos of the world. So it's that's the conundrum right now.
Yeah, well, I first of all, he's got the Boise State. I told you when you play with Boise State, you kind of get that pass for playing with Boise State. But
Right.
You know what? I've been listening to Brian Broderson. They've been saying that he has to make sure he stays healthy because there's no guarantee that he can be on this roster, even though he was a pick last year. So I really want to see what he's going to do. He has really good size. And I think he can play inside and outside. But once again, health is the key with all receivers. I mean, a lot of people are going to be fighting for spots this year. Noah Brown, everybody's been talking about this is going to be a critical year for Noah Brown. We know the first three spots are set with Cobb, Cooper, and Gallup. But beyond that, Tavon Austin, Noah Brown, you got these young guys out there. Everybody's going to be fighting for a spot, so it's going to be crazy. The OTA's already been going on. Guys have been looking good. But when training camp goes on, they put them pads on, man. It's going to be something serious going on, and I can't wait to get out there and see this competition live.
Yes, indeed. So we got to look at it from these things too, Cowboy Nation. Injuries. Whew. They're going to play a major role for the wide receivers competition because you can't just be laying down saying, I can't run this route.
Right.
Because now the guidance of the world, John Vea. Remember, I said earlier on my stream for those who watch, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Reggie Davis got out there and shined because Michael Gallup was laid out. You see what I'm saying? His hamstring was all pulled around. So he was prepared and the opportunity granted. Now people know, hey, I'm looking for number 11.
Right.
Who's that number 11? That don't look like Cole Beasley. That guy's black.
He black as hell.
He black as hell.
He black and tall.
Right, 6 foot, but he need a ham sandwich or a hamburger or something because he's 170 pounds.
Right.
Like, good Lord, my knee works. And I'm a little dude, and my knee is bigger than that. So,
heck yeah.
Hopefully he can stay healthy. That is the calling card as well with Trayvon Austin, or my boy Jerry would say Tavion. He got to stay healthy too.
Yeah, definitely got to stay healthy. Everybody, to me, this is one of those type of camps that guys can't really get hurt this year. The last couple of years, you could get hurt and just still be okay, but not this year. They had a really good draft. They had a good after draft. You got young guys still in the fold, so you cannot be hurt this year significantly if you're not a top player, because if you're not a top player, you might be gone bye-bye.
And they won't be singing Kumbaya because what they're going to be happening is that somebody going to be like, oh, hallelujah. Because they're going to be looking at it like this. I got the opportunity to put that star on my helmet and play out there and tell mama and auntie and Shirley and all them that, hey, come see me on Sunday night,
and
catching balls from Dak Prescott.
And don't forget about Tony Pollard, because he plays that receiver position too. So he's going to be flexing out there, because I know Kellen Moore is going to do all kind of things with that guy. As long as he stays healthy, you can see a lot of things that Kellen Moore is going to mix and match with him. But you know what? We've been talking about that. We're going to jump back into it, but we might as well talk about it, because I've already seen people jumping in the chat talking about it. But we're already going to transition to this guy right here. Yes, we hate the Eagles. Yes, we can't stand them guys. They get on our nerves. But we heard the news. It's been going back and forth. Were they going to extend Carson Wentz? Were they not? Dak Prescott watch about those two guys with the contracts. Well, you see, Wentz just got extended, to 2024, over 107 million guaranteed. If you're looking at the 4-year deal, he's making about 32 per. I mean, with injuries, they still went out there and got it. So tell me, Law. Now you just seen this contract from Carson Wentz. Tell me now what you think about Dak Prescott. Is he going to exceed that 32, or is he going to be right around it, or maybe just below?
If I'm Dak Prescott's agent, I would say, hey, give me 32 and give me a penny or more than what Carson is getting. Just like if you look at the contract of my guy D-Law, and then if you also look at Frank Clark's contract, they're very similar in a sense, but Frank Clark got more money. If you look at the guaranteed dollars. Now, I would say this: Carson Wentz is used to the money, because his rookie's contract was like 24, 26 million, give or take.
Right.
Dak Prescott don't even make the 6 million. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He was only making pretty much $100,000 more than Rico gathers, if I'm on the right page with that. Of course, he had to do so many commercials, and everybody said, "Hey, why is he on this commercial? Why is he doing it?"
He got to get paid.
Yeah,
he wasn't no first round pick.
Right.
That man was a 4th round pick with no dollars.
Right. And then there's the other argument, too, that a lot of people say, well, Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. Duh. He was drafted in the first round.
I mean,
he's supposed to be better.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know how people try to I am not to cut you off, Law, but I don't know understand how people try to make that comparison when Wentz went second in the whole entire draft and Dak went fourth. So if you're comparing the numbers, they're very eerily closely similar, and this guy was three rounds back. So how can Dak Prescott sit there and say, I want to get paid, when I've outplayed my round? I've outplayed where they drafted me. My numbers have outplayed where they drafted me. So he should really get a big pay raise for this, because you're looking at where he was drafted compared to his numbers.
Right. And he never felt the money or the paychecks that Carson Wentz got on a weekly basis. So we got to add all those things into one, right? And then on top of that, when you start talking about the value, right? The value. It's equivalent to you buying a Porsche, right?
Right.
And you bought that Porsche, but every time you try to take it out for a spin, the alternator go out, or the oil change needed to be changed, and you didn't get the oil change, and all of a sudden now you're on the side of the road. That is what Carson was. He was like that Porsche, but we had a better value because the Honda that we went and selected, we said, okay, we need to put these things together. We need to put this part around them. We need to put this around them. So we was able to not put the expensive gas in it. We was just able to put that, the low budget gas in it, and we made it further than the Carson Wentz or the Jared Goff. Now, I do know that the Eagles fans and some Cowboy fans will say, well, Carson Wentz got a Super Bowl. I don't count that Super Bowl.
No, I ain't counting that.
Him, you know.
He got him there, but we don't know if he would have played that whole way, that he would have made it to the Super Bowl and he would have won that Super Bowl. We don't know that. So Carson Wentz gets no love about him winning no Super Bowl.
Right.
You went to a Super Bowl. You were in the Super Bowl, but you did not play in that Super Bowl, so that does not count for you. That's just like a third stringer to me that got a ring, but you never played. So I'm not counting you. Yeah, you got that Super Bowl, but don't nobody remember you.
Hey, the kids are already asleep though, right? They already in the bed.
Yeah, they're
9:47 with 10. So it's kind of like in the club, bruh. You know what I mean? You be in the club and you partying. You see the little sweetie out there, and you've been, buying her a drink and everything. You've been watering her down and everything. You've been holding it down for her. Then all of a sudden, when it's time to go, I just pull up and be like, "What's up?"
You feel me?
I go home with her, but thank you for the all of the expenses. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Thanks
that's
for
just
hooking
how
it
it
up.
was. Thank you for hooking me up a big game, James. But I'm gonna come up with the layup. So that is what Carson Wentz did, and we just never know. We would never know if Carson Wentz was going to be able to win a playoff game. You
Ex-
never know. The rookie bug or the sophomore slump bug might have stepped up and showed his face.
Exactly. And shout out to Mr. Trucker 500 for the growing it, the Cowboys Nation with the $5 donation. We love you out there. Appreciate you. And shout outs to everybody that's in here. I can't get everybody's name out, but I definitely giving the shout outs. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for jumping in here. We love all you guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? We're just talking about Cowboys football. But as I said, yeah, we may have got a Honda, but we got a nice Honda. We ain't getting no
Well, we
80.
got a nice
We
one.
ain't getting no 87 Honda. I think we got a 2000 something Honda. And then when we added some features like Amari Cooper, and then you get other players, so now you got some nice rims on it, some nice. I like a black Honda, blacked out.
Right,
Get me some
right,
nice
right.
tint. And now we got some nice wheels, and so guess what? It may not be that Porsche or anything like that, but I bet you if you see that Honda tinted out looking good, you be like, I like that Honda. That's nice,
Right,
and it will
right.
last long if you take care of that Honda. Put gas and change the oil in. That Honda's gonna last you a very long time. That's why people buy them. And so for me, I don't want something that's going to be quick. I need something that's going to last me a long time, and that's what we want to do with Dak Prescott. The dude is young. The dude still needs to learn. We understand that law. We understand he still needs to get better. We understand the footwork. We understand it. Don't the
Right.
Cowboys understand it? That's why they got Kellen Moore to be better for Dak Prescott, because he seems to have that young spirit, and they kind of grew together, and the Cowboys were watching probably that friendship and that relationship. They saw, you know what? These guys are vibing. These guys are clicking. Let's go ahead and make that move. And then you get John Kitna in the fold, who's just like a homie. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? He's like one of the guys, and he's going to push Dak to get better, and he's been under good lineage as well, and tutelage as well, John Kitna has. And then go back to Kellen Moore. I've been listening to what he's saying. Then me and you talked about the off camera yesterday about Dan Orlovsky, how he was talking about Kellen Moore because they both were together in the Lions on the Lions team with Scott Linehan, and basically he was just hype, really giving Kellen Moore a lot of glowing reviews, basically saying he's going to be a really good coach. And honestly, I just feel he is, Law. Like, I'm not trying to hype him or push him, but I don't have the bad feeling about this kid because I don't think he's going to jump in there and do all this kind of change up all these philosophies. No, like I said, they all do the same things. They just do it different ways. And I think he's just going to have that defense off balance, a lot of motions, a lot of different sets, two guys in the backfield, 4 wide, 3 wide. He's going to have it to where the defense never knows what they're doing, and that's what we want because we were very predictable with Scott Linehan, and that's why teams got up on us and we struggled so much, in my opinion.
Yes, indeed. You have Scott Linehan last year, and it's a crime. It's a crime. He ought to call Ezekiel Elliott every day and say, I apologize. Because Ezekiel Elliott only had 6 touchdowns.
6 damn touchdowns.
6 touchdowns, man. And Ezekiel Elliott throughout his entire career, he never had a losing season, even on Pee Wee League. So my thing is, Cowboy Nation, I'm thinking that, yes, football been football since the beginning of dawn, 11 versus 11. I'm thinking that what I'm seeing with Ezekiel Elliott, his skill set, and Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb, and you throw in a mix of Gallup, and you have a running quarterback, he may not can throw the best fade in life, but Dak Prescott know how to utilize his legs, man. And you can throw in some wrinkles with Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott now that you have somebody that can think outside of the box. Look, I said earlier, Big Game James, when I was live like 95, I said that I had an old school coach who when I ran track, he didn't want us to touch the weights. He didn't believe in weights. He believed in applied metrics, jumping and running on the grass opposed to the track, and also running barefoot. He had to doing all type of crazy stuff. But the reality of it is that you have to implement weights into your program if you want to be bigger and stronger.
Right.
But that was the new age philosophy.
Right.
So sometimes coaches, what Dan Orlovsky said on his interview on 105.3 The Fan, shout out to them, what he was saying is that Scott Linehan was blessed with the Randy Mosses of the world, the Calvin Johnsons, the Dez in his mid career stage. You see what I'm saying? So
A young Matthew Stafford could chuck the ball
young.
everywhere. You know what I mean?
I saw Matthew Stafford get down on his knees and throw the ball 60 yards with his eyes closed to a target.
Mm-hmm.
That's how strong that man's arm is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Dak Prescott can throw like that with a run accurately like that with a running star throw. You just see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not throwing salt and shade at Dak, but what I'm saying is that sometimes people are just naturally gifted in a sense.
And we know that. You feel me?
Yeah.
We know that. Like, we've been doing football for a very long time. You can tell an eye test. You can see a quarterback where, like, man, he's just good. Like, he's just a natural. I've coached. I've seen players come in the system, and as soon as you come, the day one they come out on the field, and you watch them run and do moves, you're like, he's nasty. You don't have to sit there and watch him for a week or 2 weeks or anything like that. You can just tell he's going to be good. Or you can look at other kid. You know what? He's going to need a little work, but if you keep working with him, he can be really good attitude. See what I'm saying? Not every player is like that, and that's what people need to understand. Dak Prescott may not be that Drew Brees, dead accuracy type guy, but he definitely brings a dual threat that you have to respect. And when you watch him in them games, man, you can't bring that big boy down. I mean, J.J. Watt had him. I mean, you seen guys hitting on him when we played the Seahawks. Dudes was bouncing off him. He trucking people up the middle to get first downs. I like that. And I think Kellen Moore is going to add that element even more, especially, and he's been talking about especially doing that in the red zone. Because one of the things that I have been harping on, two things I want to see from this Cowboys offense: red zone efficiency, where we score touchdowns and not field goals, and I would also like to see quick strike offense, so we don't always have to go and do 12, 13, 14 play drives only to get a field goal. Then the team comes down and score a touchdown. It's like, man, that's not good. That's what I don't want to see this year. I want to see us get quick strike. Hey, there's nothing wrong with the 2 or 3 play drive, boom, touchdown. That is a good thing because that demoralizes a defense as well. If you can quick strike them and get on top of them, and then you got a smothering defense that could come right back and destroy them, that's the type of package you want. And I believe the Cowboys are building that as we speak.
Yes, indeed. So when you start talking about that, man, especially when we was talking about like natural gifted talent, right?
Mm-hmm.
When people look at a Pat Mahomes, or when people do look at this Matthew Stafford's, or when people look at the other quarterbacks that got a better arm than Dak Prescott, how often do people look at the running back piece of the puzzle and say, well, man, Jordan Howard, why is he not running like Ezekiel Elliott? You see, or what another 4th or 5th round quarterback or running back, why is he not running like the likes of Ezekiel Elliott? See, so we have to reel everything in and understand where we are at with our team. You got to look at it from these parameters too. Ezekiel Elliott is our Porsche, basically, right? And it's been a durable for us. He just got a couple speeding tickets by Roger Goodell, and that's a story of a different day. So what I'm saying is that with Kellen Moore, with his brilliant brain, also they was talking on 105.3 The Fan when he was recruited for the go to Boise State. Shout out to Boise State. Boise Nation, Cowboy Nation. But when they came into his living room, he was 16 and a half or going on 17, 18, whatever it was, they said that he already had a stack full of plays that was so unique that they said, anyway, we can borrow a few of those plays so we can implement that.
Right.
And I know I'm long-winded when I say this, Big Game James.
You're good.
But wasn't Boise State with Kellen Moore
50-1?
Yes.
50-1.
And he had a weak arm.
Yeah.
Small.
Little. He little.
Little guy.
And he looked like a kid still.
Looked like a kid, can't grow facial hair. I grow more facial hair in 15 seconds than he ever had in his life.
Exactly.
But my thing is right here, Cowboy Nation, is that some brilliance somewhere around here. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to pump up Kellen Moore and try to kick down Scott Linehan, because Scott Linehan is not 100% trash. Right. I'm not saying that. Right. Scott Linehan was just like, to me personally, just to me, was just an old man that's stuck in his ways, who
Yes.
didn't really want to just transform and bring in new ideas when
Yes.
players started calling him out, like the Allen Hearns when
Yes.
he got mad in the earlier part of the season. You saw him disappear. And my brother from another mother, Amari Cooper, when he said, "Look, Dak, you got to change this play." And then when he lamented to the media, man, we saw Amari Cooper being shut down, not by the opposition, but by the guy that was holding the clipboard.
Right. And that's crazy. And so I'm glad we don't have that. And like I said, I think that's one of the biggest things with Kellen Moore is that they don't have to worry about that. You know, Ezekiel Elliott even said it to Michael Irvin when Michael Irvin said he had skeptics about Kellen Moore. Ezekiel Elliott stood up and was like, "Hey, you got to believe in this kid because he listens to us. We see plays on the field and we can come back and talk to him about that, and then he can come in and implement a play. Well, let's run this play because you see this." I don't believe Scott Linehan was this, like you were saying. I believe if they saw something, they couldn't even say something to Scott Linehan because it didn't matter what they said. He was going to run his play, and he didn't care what you thought about it. The play was going to be run that way. Let me ask you a quick question because I got some questions in here, Law. A few people have asked D. Will, and I think somebody else asked, and I'm sorry if I didn't get the name, about Rico Gathers. Actually, I was going to do a video. I did 2 daggone videos, Law, this morning at the job about Rico Gathers. And guess what? My internet sucked. It just kept on acting up, and my phone kept on just kicking me out, so I couldn't even post it, so I was so daggone mad. So it must be God saying, let's talk about Rico Gathers right now. So, what do you think about Rico right now? Do you think he has a good chance to make it, and do you think Kellen Moore will say, you know what, though I'm gonna wipe the slate clean and we're gonna put you on the field and we're gonna see what you can do?
According to Brian Broaddus, right, Schultz regressed in a sense during his OTAs, and I know it's still organized team activities, right? But the person that you really want to pay attention to, Cowboy Nation, during the latter part of last season, during the blocking portion of everything, is the big number 80. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Just because he don't know every play in the playbook, you still had Scott Linehan, who is the offensive coordinator. Now, according to them, yeah, Scott Linehan knew more than what we talking about, right? But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that you have a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", however tall he is, who can post out, block out. He began to become one of the better blockers towards the latter part of last year, even in the playoff games against the Seattle Seahawks. So I want you guys to go back if you can. I wish I was able to put out film and let you guys see the stuff that I'm talking about. Rico improved so much in his blocking that he blocked his way back onto the field. And my thing is, Jarwin, yes, he's understandable, a guy that's on the uprising or trending upwards, but you still now have old reliable, who I believe Wednesday, Mike Fisher from 105.3 The Fan mentioned that, hey, this guy is not coming off the field.
He ain't coming off the field. You knew he wasn't coming off the field. Law, you know, as soon as he said, "I'm coming back," he went, all right, let's go ahead and pencil him. You feel me?
Oh, hold on. Okay, Google, stop. She just wanted to
got
jump
on my
in the
ear. She
conversation.
wanted to jump in and talk Cowboys. She heard you talking about some Blake Jarwin. Like, oh, you're talking about Blake Jarwin. What's going on? You feel me? But
yes,
just like we said, man, you knew Whitney's getting his snaps. I don't care what you say, anybody said. We knew Whitney's going to be on that field. So we understand that. But, man, and I like Blake Jarwin. I was a Blake Jarwin fan in 2017 when nobody was talking about him. I was like, I like that Blake Jarwin kid because I saw him in training camp. I was like, I like him. I want to see what he can do. And obviously the Philadelphia Eagles liked him a lot too because they tried to poach him, and the Cowboys were like, no. You saw what he did when he got some extended time, and you saw him trending up. But here's the thing. Do you think they're going to keep 4 tight ends? Because I don't. I don't think they're going to keep 4 tight ends. Because there's too many other spots that are needed. And then you have Jason Witten back in the fold. I just don't see where they keep 4 tight ends. And if that's the case, that's where I'm wondering between a Schultz or a Rico Gathers. Who do you think they would keep Schultz because he's a 4th round pick?
I mean, forget that, man. I think the higher upside will still be Rico, and I know
he
that
does have the higher upside.
Yes, indeed.
We know
then
that.
On top of that, yeah, if you look at it from these angles right here, Cowboy Nation and Big Game James, if you have my guy Old Reliable out there, and you need somebody else to block, are you going to lean towards Jarwin to block? Is Jarwin a better blocker than Rico at this point?
Hell no.
Hell no. So it goes to like, okay, Rico is earning his spot on his team just by blocking his way. What was his weakness in 2017? Now is his strength in 2019. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Well,
And the church say
yes,
amen.
yes, as a church say amen. So my thing is the reason why I feel that they can roll with 3 tight ends opposed to 4 is because you got Jameis Olawale. They believe in Jameis Olawale
Lord,
over Rod Smith.
they love
So
some Jameis.
they love some Jameis, and maybe this goes back to the point of Scott Linehan. Maybe your boy Kellen Moore was like, I can utilize him a little bit better. I know his strength. I know that we can disguise and throw some smoke out there and have our fullback catching some seam routes and also motion my fullback to be an H-back / tight end, and he can run the Y position. So I'm thinking that maybe, just maybe, he's more valuable than a Rod Smith because this guy can also be a lead block, and he's not afraid to put his nose inside the block as well. So they're looking at those things and they saying, okay, we can remove one of these tight ends. And in my opinion, I think that Schultz is still practice squad eligible.
Yes, he should be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like I said, when you look at between those two, Schultz I don't think is a bad player, but
Right.
talent wise, just if you look at that size from Rico, I'm sorry, I can't just get over 6'7", 285, 290 pounds. And yes, I understand that. I understand, I said Rico was going to get cut last year, and I was surprised he made the squad. But he did get better. But I was listening to Brian Broderson. What he said about Rico is this, and I think it's true, that you know what? There's no more kind of mess ups for him. It's been 3
Right.
years in the system. You should know what you're doing. You should know your assignments. Even they wrote an article about Gathers, and he was saying it's becoming more natural to him. It's not like he's thinking so much on the field, and it's becoming more natural. Well, he has to show that natural ability like he was showing in preseason in 2017, where we were all jumping up in the air like, yo, we got a dog here because he's killing people. That's why they're trying to that's why to me they keep holding on, because we saw what he could do. And if you could get him involved in the offense like they did in 2017 in that preseason, I know it was preseason, but
Right.
daggone it, when you saw some of that did not get you hyped with a man that size doing what he did. I mean, I'm
Right.
sorry. That still gets me hyped up. Like, man, I still kind of want to see what he can do because, man, if he could get in that offense, you don't tell me if you threw a Jarwin in there with Rico at the same time and they both going out on pass, man, that's going to be a nasty little setup right there.
Right, right. And then vertical seams and things like that, man. It's just going to be medieval. And I'm thinking that, like, some people are slow learners. Remember, the guy played limited amount of football in high school and as well as college. He didn't
Eighth
play at all in
grade.
college. Right.
You feel me? So we're going to see what happens with that. I had a few people ask me, we're going to jump. Like I said, we freestyling today, freestyling,
Yeah.
profiling, buck wilding. So, somebody asked me about the defensive backs. And that's a good thing to bring up because, you've been watching in the news. They've been pumping up Jordan Lewis like crazy. Makes me mad right now because I don't know if they're using that for trade, pumping them up because you wasn't saying a daggone thing about my dog last year. He was a gadget player last year, playing on offense, doing jet sweeps, getting punt or kick returns. That was just really frustrating me because I don't care. I know I like this player. I like Jordan. I met him a couple times. I interviewed him. He's a great guy. But not just that. He has he's just got that nasty demeanor. He's got that pit bull attitude that I feel like you need on the team. And not just that, he's talented. Now all of a sudden I hear Jason Garrett saying he's special. Now all of a sudden I hear Chris Richard saying, oh, he's a exception to the rule. Well, if he's exception to the rule, Chris Richard, and I love your coaching style, I promise you I do, then why in the heck he ain't on the field?
Because this right here, Chris Richard is everything for this Dallas Cowboys secondary. But he's everything against my boy Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis. And here's why. The system just doesn't fit him. I know a lot of people talk tongue in cheek, say, oh, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good student. You don't devalue your product when you're trying to get it out there in the market. You kind of uplift it a little bit, Normally in houses, in family, we talk about each other. But we out in public, man. Hell, we're gonna praise you like no other, right?
Right.
We can say negative things about each other, but Boy, when we out there, man, we're gonna talk positive. So I'm thinking that that's the situation. To me personally, just to me, and I love DB play. I don't think that there's a cover corner that can cover better than Jordan Hip Pocket Lewis.
Yes.
Think about this. At his raw talent alone in 2017, if you look up the pro football references and stuff like that and focuses, you will see, and I know I don't use pro football focuses on a lot of things, but you will see that he was one of the guys that had limited amount of targets because teams was like looking at it like, hey, this guy's covering these guys tight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with the old defensive back coach. My thing is this Chris Richard system. He looking for somebody with physical size, length, who can be a little bit more aggressive. So that's when your boy Michael Jackson comes to the mix. Moonwalking on him, baby. When he can play inside and he can put a little physical attitude out there. Who is a better tackler? Jordan Lewis is not the best tackler in the world. Anthony Brown tackles a little bit better out in space than Jordan Lewis, to me.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as coverage, and your boy, he got all of the tools, but he just had the wrong coordinator for him. And that's just the reality of it. And it's not throwing shade at Chris Richard, but that's just how it is. Spade to spade. We talk to real around here. We ain't going to lie to y'all to kick it.
I mean, yeah, it just, and and plus you got Anthony Brown, and it's crazy because AB ain't terrible, and he got a lot more physical toward the end of the year, and you've seen he's been training really hard because it's a contract year. Contract year guys be on it. You feel me?
Forgot about it.
Yeah, he's in his last.
And how many sacks? He had like three sacks.
Yeah, 3 sacks. Yeah, he got 3 sacks. That's how he got in the Hot Boys. That's how he became a Hot Boy.
Hey, fam, we would never see that from Orlando.
No, and you know what? AB is a really good blitzer. Like, he is a good blitzer. Like, they send him, and he makes timely, big sacks. He makes big sacks. And like I said, he played good at the end of the year. So my thing is this. I'm not trying to pit a Jordan Lewis against an AB right now. 4 corners are better than 3. 5 is better than 4. So you feel me? So, hey, let him duke it out and battle out, but please just give my guy a chance. Give Jordan a chance. Don't just sit there and sit him on the bench and let him wallow away because he's got too much talent. We've seen it in the Saints game. My dog was sitting out for how many games getting no kind of reps, and then you put him in the Saints game against one of the best offenses, Drew Brees, Kamara, those type of guys, and they put him in straight cold. And then you're guarding Kamara. You make the games. Kamara's a monster. And they were putting Lewis on him, and he was staying with him step for step. And not just that, he wins the game pretty much.
Right. He stood on him like a cheap seal sucker suit. He was all over him, man. And Jordan, he could have had 2 interceptions. You guys go back and watch that game. He saw a little comeback route. He jumped that route. Oh, my boy. Yes, he kicked it. He just couldn't bring it in. I call it a little rust factor because his eyes got so big that he was like, man, I'm going to take this to the house.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but my thing is the difference is, like you said earlier, AB is a little bit more physical. If Jordan Lewis started the whole year in his AB spot, those 3 sacks would never occur.
Right.
I don't think that Jordan Lewis will be that guy that can blitz off at the edge and come in and put his nose deep down inside. But my thing is this guy, Michael Jackson. We got to find us a drop, baby, for this year.
Exactly. Every time he makes an interception.
Because you can put them inside and out. And another thing that we got our eyeballs on, just like Reggie Davis was able to take control and take advantage of the opportunity. Remember I said earlier.
Are you going to say him?
No, okay, I'm saying that my boy Awuzie, he's folded up like a pretzel right now. I saw him all on somebody's back last night on somebody's Twitter page.
He always hurt, man.
He's hurt. So somebody need to step it up.
Man, I like Awuzie, but, man, he is always hurt, dog. Like, every year is some kind of little knick-knack injury with him, and it's like, I like you, dog. You have some talent. Like, you got good size. You got really good coverage skills. I mean, he's always in their pockets as well. I mean, seen a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, we seen Stafford, Matt Ryan. They were throwing dimes, and he was right there. Just turn your head around, please. I mean, Awuzie had me going crazy, yelling at that TV, turn your daggone head around because you got the pick, because you got the perfect coverage. But more than anything else, dog, you need to stay healthy because we need you on that field. we need a Byron Jones, we need a Uze, we need all our guys on that field. Michael Jackson, I think, like you said, I love the pick because not just that, I think he felt slighted for dropping to the 5th round. I think he wants to prove something that he is one of the top cornerbacks. They had a higher grade on him, but he went lower. He said, "Chris Richard, come get me. I'm gonna do what come get me. I don't care what you got to do. Come get me." I like that attitude. And if you see him, he just looked like he got a nasty attitude. And with that size, 6'1", 210 pounds, I can definitely see him being real physical. Now, didn't you do a little article on Donovan Alumba? Did you? What do you think about Alumba?
I mean, the article stated that he was 5'3".
Damn.
Started in high school, and by the time he graduated, he was 5'11".
Okay.
Went to college, and then from 5'11", he went to like 6'7" something. Like he's 6'2". So he's a guy that had a weird growth spurt all of a sudden, and you pretty tall, big game. You know how it is. You got to get used to moving around in your frame.
Yes.
And going from 5'3" to 5'11", then from 5'11" to 6'2", that's a lot of growth factors in there. You know, your muscles and your tendons. And for those who had anatomy, the synovial fluid, not even all the way there yet. You know, the backbones and the gristle. You still just got a gristle. You don't even have a backbone yet because all that stuff trying to catch up with your frame. So what I'm thinking is that I mean, he probably can ball. He probably can play basketball. But my thing is, it's just going to take another year. I'm thinking that he knew for sure that going into this system, I must know everything because he's not a 4'3" guy. He don't have speed on his side. All he have is now the height and the mental capacity to say, okay, I want this more than you. So line them up, lace them up, and I'm gonna try to rip your soul out, big game, James. That's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna fight this thing. Please. I want this battle. I want this poach up more than you.
You want that smoke.
I want that. I want all of the smoke, not a piece of it. I want it all. So that's what he's saying. I gotta play perfection because I don't have the longitude and latitude. I can't be folded up and laying on somebody's back like a woozier.
Yeah,
I'm gone.
Yeah, he don't have that luxury. You're gonna be out of here.
I'm going to be out the door, and then nobody else going to believe in me because they're going to look at it like, hey, if you didn't make it for the star, then I don't know if you can make it for us right now. That's just how it is. Unless Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs loves all the backup players.
Yeah, they love all our guys lately. They've been trying to poach us like crazy, like the Redskins. As soon as we get a player that's halfway good, they want to try to poach. Oh, weirdos. Hey, but let me ask you about this kid because a lot of people have been talking about him as well. Haven't really heard about him too much in OTAs. The undrafted kid from Kentucky, Chris Restery, everybody been talking about him. You know, a 6'4.5" without shoes. I know he's a lightweight, only about 200 pounds, so he's definitely got bigger. I don't actually see him even seeing the field this year, just in my opinion, if he does make the team. But the only thing I get worried about is that if they play him in preseason and he looks decent, somebody will try to poach him because of that size. He went undrafted, but you see a 6'4.5" corner, and he's making some plays out there. They're going to go after him. I don't care what anybody says, and he's going to be on the cheap. So you can see that happening. So Cowboys are going to be have to be cautious to me how they play him and not showcase him too much because the other team's going to be watching him in that size. What do you think about that kid? Do you think he has a chance to get on the field? Do you think he can make the roster? What's your thoughts on Chris Restery?
I mean, he's going to have to really shine. You know, guys like that who was undrafted, he shows a little sample of speed here and there, but he got to show a level of consistency. He's just in the same boat as Alumba. He's going to have to pick up the defense, and he's going to have to actually show up and shine opposed to just being out there because we had guys similar like that. You remember Taylor from last year? I think that was his last name.
Yes.
So we had guys that we've been leaning on as far as that size and fit the mold. But, you know, he's going to have to beat out my guy, Dakoud. What's his name? Dakoud?
Yeah, Tristan Dakoud, I think it. DeCloud, something like that.
DeCloud or something
DeCloud,
like that.
yes, DeCloud.
Yeah, he's going to have to beat out those boys. So we got some dogs on this team. It's only 63 spots, and I'm counting the 10 as far as the practice squad. And I don't know about you, big game, James. But I heard the practice squad players at least make what 50,000 a week or something like that. Or not a week, but every 3 months. So I guess 210,000 a year. So they make some money, man. So I
And
wouldn't
that
mind being on the practice squad as
put me
well.
on a practice squad, dog. I promise you
Yeah.
I could do something. I promise you I'll try to give y'all some kind of reps and give y'all some looks, man. Just let me get some of that bread, dog. I got bills like no other, and I need to pay some of them jokers off. Get me on that practice squad for just like 6 months, and I promise you I'll be so good for y'all. I'll give y'all some good looks. I'll drink that fountain of youth and get y'all looking good. All
Looking
right.
good.
So we're still in the secondary. I seen some people talking in. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Let me shout out some names: D. Will, Adam Davis, Meticulous Cowboys, 86, Virginia's Finest, Rocksteady, Stewart, Gambino, Isaiah Hill, David Pence, John House, Carolina Cowboys. Shout out to all you guys that are in here. Katina, what's up with you, girl? KG, Gis, what's up with you, big dog? How you doing? So let me talk about I made a little post. Some people got really mad at me. I wasn't trying to make the comparison, but people got mad at me when I said, is Jeff Heath the new Bill Bates? And I'm not saying he's Bill Bates. What I'm saying is Bill Bates, they were always trying to get him off the roster every daggone year. That's the comparison I was trying to make. Every year they were saying, you don't got the athletic ability, you're not this, you're not that. But every year, guess what? Bill Bates was in there getting 87 tackles, 86 tackles, 124 tackles, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions in a season. You seen what he was doing. They put it in the Pro Bowl the next year after his rookie year. Special teams player just for him because he was a nasty monster, okay? Then you look at Jeff Heath. Same height. Both 6'1", same weight. Both of them were 212. Obviously, Jeff Heath ran a faster 40, ran like a 4.4 in his day.
Yeah.
Now, and he came from a small college,
Saginaw Valley.
You feel me? And Bates came from Tennessee. So I'm not saying they're the same player. Please, folks, I'm not disrespecting no Bill Bates. I watched him. What I am saying is that people are always trying to get Jeff Heath off the roster, and it's 5 years and he's still there. And as Mike Fisher reported, he is the entrenched starter right now. He is the entrenched starter with Xavier Woods, no matter what we say about it. I've heard people talking about, don't count out Ioka. I'm not counting them out, but I know the Cowboys love Heath. And when the Cowboys love a player, it's hard for them to move them out the way. When the Cowboys love a player, I'll say this again, Mr. Law Nation. When the Cowboys love a player, it's hard to move him out the way. And they love some Jeff Heath.
Man, they love LOVE. And my thing is, and there's nothing wrong with it, Cowboy Nation. My thing is, Cowboy Nation, I want you guys to understand this. People think that this is Madden. People think that this is just a plug and play. People think that this is high school or middle school or even college in certain degrees. College football is kind of difficult in certain situations because you're studying and you're doing this stuff and you're trying to graduate. But in the pros, people think that you can insert anybody and they're going to be just better than Jeff Heath. Look, he's been in this system this is going to his second year with Chris Richard, right?
Right.
And he had to unlearn all what he was taught the previous years. My thing is, Jeff Heath, to me, is a better free safety than he is a strong safety. So he played majority of his snaps at strong safety, and we were so used to seeing him being a deep safety in certain plays as a rotational guy, right?
Right.
So now when it's time to make that business action, going in and tackling and filling the gaps and stuff like that, we saw Jeff Heath sliding around last year, right?
Oh, Lord.
But if you look at game 1 and game 2, the boy that was playing the strong safety for majority of the snaps was Kayvon Frazier. It's just that his shoulder got all snapped up and he couldn't continue to play. So my thing is, you cannot discount what he can do for our special team, and what he's able to do is pick up and be versatile enough to play free and strong. So just give him enough chance to be within the second year of Chris Richard, and let's just wait and see. Now, my thing is, Big Game James, the Lion season is almost over with. And you want to know what the Lion season is?
Tell me.
When everybody kind of pumping up players, letting them know, like, hey, I ain't worried about this guy. I'm not worried about this guy. I trust who I drafted and things like that. But when that heat get out there, when training camp get out there, and they get burned, or they don't get up, they don't have that dog fight mentality, then you get on their phone and say, Eric, what's up, Barry? What's up, man? Hey, you want to come on in for a little small half a glass of Kool-Aid? Or the other kid, Trey Boston. Hey, that's your name. Come on, holler at me right quick, man. I just want to talk to you for a quick second. You like silver? You like blue? Who's helping fit you? You know what I mean? That all rhymes. But that's when the lying season is over. So everybody lying right now. You can't trust no one because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's lying at this point, and they saying that the guys that they drafted, they have 100% surety that they can play.
What do you think about Donovan Wilson, the kid from Texas A&M? I like that kid's attitude. I seen him I went through his tape. I watched him his sophomore year. He had like 5 interceptions. A guy that will lay the wood on you. A guy who's super intense. One of them team players that will go all out. I think he's one of them dudes that will just do anything for the team. And I think that's one of the reasons why they drafted him. You know, you always hear about Jason Garrett saying getting the right players, the right type of guy. I think he's that type of player for them. Even though he went in the 6th round, we've seen Cowboys players 5th, 6th, 7th round. It don't matter. They'll still make the team. What do you think about Donovan Wilson's chances in that safety position?
I love his scouting report. I love the fact that his issue was that he overshoot and he overpursuit, right? He takes poor angles as it relates to that part of it, being over aggressive. I love that part. Shoot.
Be
Just like Chris
aggressive.
Richard. Be aggressive. That was the only issue is with Jeff, just not being super aggressive as it relates to throwing your body and putting it on the line. So my thing is, I think that Chris Richard is going to implement that into his system of letting him know, like, hey, don't over pursue, take this angle, continue to tackle like you're tackling, and everything else will go into play. So I like his chances of making this team, but he's really going to have to shine on what we call SP, special teams. He's going to have to do something out there to make it. So that's his only way of making his team all the way. Is shining through special teams.
Well, we're going to see. I like the kid, and I want to see his chances. Like I said, I'm really excited about this training camp more than in the last few years. Like I said, I got to get that experience last year going to training camp, and it was awesome. But now with you got all these young guys in the fold, it's really going to be crazy because now you'll be able to see it. And I really want to see what this offense is going to look like. We're going to switch a little bit over to that offense right quick. Randall Cobb. Everybody's been talking about this guy. I mean, that dude gives me goosebumps. I ain't going to even front. I love getting Robert Quinn, and we'll talk about Robert. I was pumping the Mighty Quinn. I was pumping him. I love getting Robert Quinn. I love the acquisitions, but the Randall Cobb acquisition, just like when we got Amari Cooper, the vibe that Cooper and Dak, they just hit the ground running, them two, and you've seen the connection. You've seen how they just were together. I'm thinking the same thing is going to happen with Randall Cobb. I just believe that this guy played with Aaron Rodgers. He knows what it is like to win. The guy is like a quarterback on the field. He played a running back as well. He's versatile. You can do a lot of things with him. I think with him and Gallup and Cooper, oh, my God, I just think Randall Cobb is going to be really, really nasty for us. What are your thoughts on Randall Cobb?
Let me throw this out as a disclaimer. I'm not trying to say that Dak Prescott is better than Aaron Rodgers. But every time, minus the win-loss record, if you guys look it up, and I'm not reaching, but Dak Prescott outperformed Aaron Rodgers each time they met up, So my thing is, if he can outperform Aaron Rodgers, now he got a little bit more weapon than a guy that can run inside and outside. You can line him in the backfield. You can do reverse sweeps. The guy is a student of the game, knowledgeable of the game, knows how to sit in the soft spots of the zone, can give you some yak after the catch. And I ain't talking about that.
That good, henny. I'm surprised you ain't hit it. You ain't hit that yak.
Yeah, man, I need to go. I need to go get that, that yak.
Yes, sir.
But this guy's going to bring that yak on the field,
right?
And I'm saying here, I'm not trying to pump this thing up, but I'm looking at it from the offensive side. I'm looking at it like Kellen Moore is like, yes, I got a guy that I can start off before pre-snap, line out at the X position, motion him into the inside, have the other guy to step up, and then I can run him inside running a Y or a Z. He can just do all of those things for you. Or if you really wanted me to get creative with it, I can put him in as a halfback in motion Ezekiel Elliott out to the far left. So you can do so much with this guy that you was not able to do with Cole Beasley. And now I know for sure if you give Dak Prescott a little time, Man, he's gonna light them boys up like a Roman candle.
What
For
would be
real.
what would be nasty, Law, if you saw Dak Prescott, let's say in a shotgun, you seen
Uh-huh.
Randall Cobb come out the slot and go back in the backfield with Ezekiel Elliott, and then you have like a Tony Pollard in the slot or something like that, dog.
Uh,
Oh my God. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, we haven't had that type of stuff where you got the juice. It seems like in some years. And so now it looks like we're finally getting the juice, and you got a guy who's going to be creative with it. I'm just excited. I'm trying not to pump this up. I'm just trying to be cool. I don't want to feel like the jinx us because
right.
we went through so much of
Knock
a
on some
law
wood.
all these years.
Yeah.
We're cautious. I don't know about other Cowboys fans, but I'm a cautious Cowboy fan now. I don't want to try to jump out there anymore because too many times I've jumped out there and been smacked down with disappointment. But daggone it, I'm too hyped about this year. I cannot stop being hyped. And it's just because the talent we got in. I love the Tony Pollard kid. I don't want to keep talking about him and hyping him. But, man, I'm telling you, dog.
Right.
When it came down to the draft, I said it was going to be, when I did my mock draft, I said it was going to be between Weber and Pollard. They ended up picking both. But that when I seen Pollard and them kick returns and use him at the backfield as a receiver, running back, and then I know it was only one play. You seen that juice? Oh my gosh, dog. Law. I love me some Tony Pollard, dog. I love me some Tony Pollard. I know I ain't seen him, and maybe you'd be like, Big Game, you ain't seen this dude. He lights come on, he might look terrible because we've seen it before. Yeah, it could happen, but daggone it, I like that kid, man. What your thoughts about Tony Pollard? Just from a distance.
Man, can run in between the tackles, can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's physical enough to evade and elude the opposition, and then he's not a short guy as well. So I'm looking at it like, hey, you can probably slap a wide receiver's number on him, and then still line him up in the backfield. I would do that. I would put him at wide receiver number, because that just throws and mind f a lot of people up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, but it's a crazy thing. He wears number 36. So I'm trying to fall myself in love with a number 36 on him. But we'll see though. We'll see how he can continue to have this hype on him all the way through the training camp, and we can't wait for week 1 of the preseason, believe it or not.
Yeah, I
but
know.
but here's the thing, Cowboy Nation. We've been in this place before.
Yes, we have.
In 2008, we've been in this place. We was loaded, and I think we started off pretty good too that year.
That was, Romo broke his pinky finger, I think, that year, and that's what kind of derailed us because we were looking good coming off the 2007 season from the disappointment. And like you said, we was loaded, and people were talking about, oh, Romo never had a defense and Romo never had a team. That's a daggone lie. Y'all didn't watch the Cowboys in 2007, 2008. You didn't watch them years then. You're not a real Cowboys fan because we damn sure had a whole lot of talent, and we had Super Bowl teams them years, and we just didn't get the job done. But we damn sure had Super Bowl teams because I dang sure thought 2007 we was going to Super Bowl.
Right. And I was talking about like the year after from 07. And then also, if we really look at it, and I'm not trying to, lower the expectation, Cowboy Nation. I'm not trying to lower the hype, but the reality was in 2015.
Right.
We was going from 2014, and we're like, yes, this is going to be the year. We got some more help on the defensive side of the ball. Everything's going to look right. And then all of a sudden, some stuff happened. So I think that this year is different from those teams because if you look at our roster from A to Z, we got depth. And depth is better than that, having that one or two guys. If we kind of look at it like, hey, this guy gonna do this, guy do that. But now we got depth.
Super depth.
So we marveling about Tony Pollard. In reality, he's a backup.
Right.
And we marveling about the Ricos, and we talked about the Jordan Lewis's of the worlds.
They're all backups. Exactly.
Backups. Our whole conversation today was on backups, believe it or not.
Exactly. and that's an exciting thing when you're talking about backups. You haven't even been talking about the starters. You know what I mean?
We haven't even. How do you feel about the offensive line? Travis Frederick. Let's talk about that starter then.
I mean, you know what? I'm not an offensive line guy, but seeing Travis Frederick come back in the fold makes me feel better. Looney did an admirable job last year, but he's not a Travis Frederick. Zach Martin next to Travis Frederick, I need to see that because them boys are just seem like they just really tight together. So, when you're good friends, it seems like they're good friends. That actually helps you on the field play better. And then you got Tyron Smith. I know he says every year, he says, I'm healthy as ever, and then he gets hurt. But I don't care. He's still a dog. We'll see what's going to happen with this La'el Collins situation with the Connor Williams kicking out at tackle. He's been playing some tackle. I'd like to see how that's going to go. But to me, that's another year of continuity, another year of Mark Colombo, who I thought was a godsend. That's a whole season under his tutelage because he brought the nastiness back. They even said, the guys on the field even said, he didn't change a lot of philosophy from Alexander. He didn't change a lot of things, but he brought the attitude back with us. He brought that attitude of we're going to dominate this line of scrimmage. And that's a big key to me, the mentality. You have to have a dog-type mentality that you're going to run this ball. We're going to do what we want. We're going to impose our will on you. And when we want to run on a 3rd and 2, we're going to get those 2 yards, maybe 7-8, because you're not going to stop us. And that's the mentality I want the Cowboys to get back to like they were in 2016. Now, what do you think about the Ezekiel Elliott situation? Because me and you haven't talked about that. I know it's kind of been in the past. What do you think about the Ezekiel Elliott situation? Because we're about to wind it down here. What do you think is going to happen to him? Do you think he will get suspended? Do you think nothing's going to happen? Slap on the wrist? Talked about what do you think is going to go on with the Ezekiel Elliott situation, and are you nervous?
What should happen is nothing, but as far as politics or whatever, what have you, he might get fined. But according to Roger Goodell, they investigating the situation. They looking more into it. They saying that he was trying to impede the process of the lady. It's much more than just the security guard. Him bumping the security guard and he falling out, like the guy that they say I look like, James Harden, for crying out loud. So my thing is this thing right here with Ezekiel Elliott. I'm always nervous with him, but should he get paid great money? Yes. But my thing is, my nervous part is that Jerry Jones right now is 10:33. He's drinking some Johnny Walker Blue right now. He's looking at his phone. He's saying like, man, I hope Ezekiel Elliott get to the bed. I hope Ezekiel Elliott get home safely. You see? So every night we're going to always worry about Ezekiel Elliott. You can't just go to sleep and turn your phone off if you Jerry Jones. And half of the Cowboy Nation wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Ezekiel Elliott is a target who don't understand that. He just don't understand that he's a target.
I don't understand how he doesn't, though, Law. You feel me? Like you just said, he's a target, and bro, everybody ain't out to be your buddy and your friend. I think one of the biggest thing with Ezekiel Elliott is that I think his company around him, because when you got those, like I said on the show, that when you have those your close peoples who know who you are. Like, bro, hey, come on, dog. Like, if you Ezekiel Elliott, Law, or like you super fabulous out there and me and you just kicking it, you the man, and then you see somebody trying to get at you, you know what? I'm like, hey, we ain't getting into this, Law. You got too much to lose. Let's go. Let's just go to the crib and kick it and chill. Somebody's got to be able to step in there and say that to Ezekiel Elliott, because I don't know the people that he has around him are saying that. I don't know if he has the people that are saying, go home. Let's go home and kick it. Let's just chill tonight. I think, I'm not for sure, just my take on it. I just feel like he has people around him like, yeah, let's kick it. Yeah, let's kick it.
Let's party.
Let's party. Yeah, let's party till 3 a.m. Yeah, let's get drunk. Yeah, come on, you good. We got this. And that's right now, you don't need that, Ezekiel Elliott, because the streets are watching, dog. And they are ready to take you under. And them streets is watching hard, and they are ready to take you under. And they would love nothing better to see a young 23-year-old guy go down. That's what people like to see. People say they love you, but they also love seeing people in drama and heartache and pain. People love seeing that. So you got to understand, Ezekiel, you got to get paid. You don't want to lose no money, so you got to be smarter. And just like you said, Law, that it was the security guard, yeah, but Goodell is looking at how you was looking at that female, what you was doing with that female, because he's going to use that against you, to me, more than that security guard, because that's what they already charged you with, or that's what you got your suspension for those 6 games.
Right. And then remember, there was, like you said, they was talking about him more so the first suspension of him pulling down and showing the lady tatas. You see what I'm saying? And you've been 22, 20 at the time, 21, 22. I mean, we did some more. I'm glad they don't have the cameras around here. Boy, we did some devilish
I kicked it in wild out. Like, I have no shame in my game. Like, I was a wild dude. I didn't care about nothing. But guess what? I didn't play in the NFL, though. No, that's a big difference. And I will tell you this one.
Out with Radio Shack money.
I'll tell you this one quick story though, Law. I used to fly with the airlines, and I flew with the airlines about a year. And that's when I was 23 years old. Flew with the airlines, was making big cake, big money, traveling all over the states, kicking it, going hard, meeting chicks everywhere, loving it. Oh, what's up, Jay? Y'all, I live in Boston. Come see me. All right, I'll be down there tomorrow. I'm off the next 5 days. I'll jump on that plane and come see you. We're going to kick it and go hard. But guess what, Law? Right. They had certain stipulations with TWA. And one of them, like, no smoking, no weed, because when we drop you, as soon as you get off the airplane, we're going to drop you. So you don't know when it's going to happen. You can never get tested, or you could get tested every week. It's just how that number falls. And so for me, I said, you know what? I don't want to take that chance because I make, number one, too much money. I have a job that nobody really has, and I can fly and travel wherever I want. You know what? I'm just going to have to be an alcoholic. And I don't like to drink all like that. And I'm just keeping it real, folks. I said I can't smoke. I can't do those type of things because I don't want to lose my job. This is too important to me for something like that to happen. So I was going to parties, Law. I was going, and blunts was being smoked everywhere. People all in your face. Hey, what's up, dog? Come over here and hit this. You feel me? And I was sitting there like, oh, I want to hit that. I ain't gonna lie, I want to do that. But back of my mind, it says, you got too much to lose. You got too much to lose. And you know, if you do this one time, they're going to call you on the airplane and it's going to be over. That's just what's going to happen. So I fought it, Law, and it was hard, but I did it. So that's the only thing I can say to Ezekiel Elliott. You can do it. Just have some good company around you.
Yes, indeed. I think he just need another voice. You know, Stacey Elliott been there in his corner. His father reading old news clippings, and you got a chance to speak to Stacey Elliott.
Yes.
About how he was able to just pick up everything and move to Ohio State to just pretty much coddle his son in a sense. And my thing is, if the father did all of that to be in his son's life, man, that's next level stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To just pick up his stuff and move all the way to Ohio to watch his son because he was concerned. He had reservations on his party and all this stuff. Ezekiel Elliott got tremendous talent. And he don't have a brother, don't he?
No, I don't think so. He's got sisters.
Yeah, all sisters. And is he the oldest? You know,
I think he is because he's got a sister right now, I believe, going to Ohio State. She running track. So I believe he is the oldest.
Right. So I grew up with a number of brothers, and I just know it's different. I'm a middle child or what have you, and some things like my brother would tell me, like, "Hey, dog, nah, don't do this, or don't talk to her, or don't, brothers got that brotherly instinct to be able to tell you, like, look, dog, I ain't gonna tell mom, but man, dude, you gotta chill out on this,
Exactly.
And I'm trying to speak in codes for those who understand. But you know how it is, man. Sometimes it's good to have that brother to be in your corner, opposed to like Ezekiel Elliott had his mom and his sisters, his little sisters, and stuff like that. Whereas a brother might say, "Hey, man, come on, man, that's a haunted talk, bro. Take that off right quick, man. Not right now, And I ain't talking strong shade.
Yeah. But it's just like, if your sister telling you probably ain't listen to it as much. Like, oh, go ahead, sis, I got this. You know what I'm saying? You would blow her off. I got this, sis. But just like you said, your bro will grab you by your neck. Like, no, you're not. You're not doing nothing. You're chilling, and you're gonna do this. That's what the brother's gonna do. Brother gonna kick your butt.
Right. So this is just my opinion. No facts about anything that I talked about, but it's just the reality of it. Cowboy Nation. This is how I feel about it.
I feel you. All right, so we're winding it up. Thank you for everybody. And let me give a few more shout outs before we close it down. I got one last thing I want to talk to you about, which is in my heart that I've kind of been thinking about. But shout outs to Jamal Willis, Adam Davis, Gambino, of course, Sheila Neal, Cheyenne Maxwell. How you doing, D. Will? As usual, Mr. Fiesta. How you doing? I never heard. Haven't seen you in there, but I like it. I like it a lot. Appreciate everybody who's been here, Aaron, everybody who's jumping in there. I know somebody said easy, slow down on Tony Pollard, putting him in the Hall of Fame. I know y'all saying slow down. I get it. Probably I am hyping a little bit too much, but guess what? I did coach football for a long time, and I do know a little bit of talent, and that boy got talent. And as long as he stay healthy, I think he's going to show a lot of people like, yo, I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame, but this dude is going to be a tremendous, tremendous asset for the team. I really am banking on that. Now, my final thing to you, Law Nation. This is about Mr. Jason Garrett. Now, I said I am going to be good to Garrett this year. I am not going to bash Garrett this year. I am going to be nice. I looked at the positives of what he is bringing to the table. I know what we've seen, 10 years ain't been nothing, and I've told people from the Himalayas, we ain't winning a Super Bowl with Garrett. But you know what? I got to try to believe because we got a lot of talent, and he has kept this team together. You and me have talked when we were 3-5. We could have folded. We could have went back, but the team kept fighting for him. The team stayed together, and I have to look at that. But if Garrett were to fail again, if he were to fail, a lot of people have been saying Chris Richard needs to move up into that position and being the head coach. But honestly, this is my opinion. I want to get your opinion. If Garrett is not the coach anymore, and let's say that defense shows good, but that offense shows really good with Kellen Moore, I personally think that Kellen Moore will be the head coach over Chris Richard. And the reason why I say two things, not because I want it, because I say two things. Remember when the Cowboys played the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly?
Right.
And Richard was getting into it with the Philly players, and we was loving it. When I seen that, I said, we about to whoop these Philadelphia Eagles ass. Excuse me, Mom, I don't want to cuss, but I got to say ass. I knew when I seen that, it was kind of like, remember when Dez went against Malcolm Jenkins that year? And then when Dez was meeting him at the middle of the field, I said, oh, yeah, we about to kill y'all, dog. Dez about to have a career day about guys, y'all, because he talking that trash. And I knew when Chris Richard was in that boy's face, I said, yeah, we're going to beat these Eagles. We're going to beat these boys. But Stephen Jones was like, we like intensity, but we don't like our coaches doing that. You feel me? Did you hear what he said? And Stephen Jones is kind of the man now. He said we don't like our coaches doing that, and he said something else when when he went ham on the sidelines. You feel me? He said something again about it. So that's the only reason why when I'm talking about somebody getting moved into the head coach spot, because I don't think they're going to go from the outside. And I think if Kellen Moore shows anything with this offense, I think he will be the next guy in line for head coach. What's your thoughts?
I don't know who will it be, but I would like to see Chris Richard coaching this team because we need that fire. But if Kellen Moore is the head coach, then it'd just be too much. A lot of people are going to be like, hey, I mean, come on now, it's going to be just too much, man. My thing is, it's a conundrum. This team is too talented to go less than 8 games. I think this team is going to be a contender. I think that Jason Garrett is going to be blessed because he got all of the pieces around him.
Is he going to win a Super Bowl for us, Law?
Are you trying to say it's Super Bowl or bust for Jason Garrett?
Is he going to win a Super Bowl for us?
Are you trying to pin the man against the wall?
I mean, it's almost like I don't know. Like,
it's a cluster.
Oh my gosh!
Can I call a friend?
Oh my gosh! See, this is, and you're just like me with this. I want to say I feel it, but the other part is me like, nope.
Because the reason why you say nope is because how you doing, guys? You just have that replay in your head, and you're just gonna feel like, man, come on, just give me anybody. And remember, we were saying that with Scott Linehan, give us anybody.
Not
and then
him.
when they got Kellen Moore, everybody was still like, oh, he just a baby, Jason Garrett,
Well, we're going to find out this year. This is going to be a critical year for us. I predicted 12-4 this year. I predicted 10-6 last year, and we ended up being 10-6. So I called that one right. I'm going 12-4. I know we got a little daunting schedule, but I believe we have the talent to beat everybody in the league, and I feel like we might lose one of them games like to one of them sorry teams, but I think we really will bang against these tough teams. And I said we have to start fast out the gate. I've said it before. Our first 5 games, 4 of them are NFC games. two division games, and then you got the Saints and the Packers right back to back. So that's going to be nasty. But if we can come out of there like a 4-1, which I think we can, I think we'll be 4-1 in that session, and I think the only team that might get us might be the Saints. Not because they're better, they just might get their revenge. But I think this year we get them Packers this year as well. So I think we'll be like 4-1 right there and kind of go from there. But before we sign off, you don't got to give me a record, but what do you think our record will look like this year?
Oh, I say a plus 10 win season this year. And I predicted that we must MUST start off fast as well. So I'm thinking that those two divisional games, especially against the Giants and the Eagles, not Giants and the Redskins, we really need to win that game. I think that the Dolphins, this is my thoughts right here. I think the Dolphins are going to surprise us. We lose to the Dolphins, then we beat the Saints, and then we beat the Green Bay Packers. Okay. And we on this little run, This is how I'm feeling,
I like your feeling better because that means we'll be 4-0 in NFC. Because that's all I'll be looking at. Like when we play games every year, I don't look at them AFC teams like that. I look at NFC games because it always comes down to we'll lose a stupid game that we should have won, and then later on down the line, it's a tiebreaker. And guess who is the tiebreaker with the team that beat us? You feel me? And that always seems to happen with us, that we lose them dumb games to an NFC team, and later in the year when we need to get a big playoff berth or anything like that, that team is staring us in the face and they have a record where I don't want to have it to where they are controlling the destiny. I want us to control our destiny and not have teams control it by, they have to win this game, the next two games. No, I don't want that. I want us controlling our destiny. I want the Cowboys coming in there with that mind frame of we're going to kick your butts. Okay.
Right.
Now, I had seen a tweet from DeMarcus Lawrence when Carson Wentz got paid, and he said, we love that. I love seeing that guy getting money because it makes it better when we beat you in the head. Then I seen a lot of people posting on there like, ease up, DeMarcus. You ain't got no sacks against Philly. Ease up. You didn't do this and you didn't do that. No. Why does he have to ease up? Isn't that type of attitude that we've been wanting? Isn't that the type of attitude we want that dog to say, okay, so what? I ain't got no sacks. I don't care. I'm going to sack you twice or 3 times this year. That's the mentality that we want. I don't want somebody saying, easy, slow up, D-Law. You didn't do this. No, I want to say, no, D-Law, get at them boys because we don't care who we are. That's been the problem with us. We've been having that passive-aggressive type attitude. We need aggressive all the time.
Yeah, just like Jimmy used to run up that score.
Yeah, he didn't care. You know what? Stop us. That's what he said.
Stop us.
You don't like it? Stop us.
Stop us. Boy, I mean, those are good old days. Boy,
man, we're trying to bring them back, big dog.
Bring it back. And I think that Chris Richard brings that type of intensity.
He does.
You guys know what I mean.
And I love it.
And one way or another, man, we're going to find a way to get back to those glory days. And that's right, because you already know I want me some what?
Glory hole. I need some glory hole. I need some glory hole.
Glory hole.
I need some glory hole.
Yes, indeed, man. Yes, indeed, man. It's always a pleasure, man, talking to you, man. Breaking it down.
Yes,
freestyling.
Man. Freestyling. I love how we just freestyling. But you know what? I appreciate you, Law. I love you for life. I know people already know about you, but, tell them about you back on Facebook. You're getting the things back popping. Tell them about what you got going on. You got the Allen Hearns thing. Tell everybody what you got going on in the near future.
Yes, for those who only love the Cowboys, not like them, I want to see you guys out here at Lava Cantina at Star in Frisco. Well, not Star in Frisco. It's in Frisco, close to the Star in Frisco. This event is going to be on June the 15th. It had to happen. Erica Wilson, Allen Hearns' mom, got a book deal out there. And also you get a chance to meet up with Allen Hearns, pick his brain, talk to him, and just get the good vibe of the season going along. We may have a surprise guest out there. So I would love to see you guys come out there and just kick it back and hang it out with me. And the admission is free $99. There's no charge to be out there. So just support the nation. Bring your silver and blue. Let's get this thing going one way or another. I'll be live like 95. And who knows, man? Who knows? All this stuff can come together this year, and you could be shaking the hand of a Super Bowl champion. You see?
Yes, it can happen. Let's believe. Let's believe. Support your team and believe. This is the year that we must support and stay on one page. I see too many times Cowboys fans are saying this and that about our players. I get it. We don't love all our players. I understand that. But this is the time to me that we all need to be on one accord and one mind, and we all need to back our boys like no other, because they need the support, because we have this is a very talented team, and the more of us Cowboys fans that are being positive energy and not saying negative energy about, oh, Dak Prescott, oh, I've seen Carson Wentz get 32 million, oh, now I got Dak Prescott. Stop crying about that, dog, because guess what? He ain't going nowhere for a few years, so you might as well just deal with it. And he's not like he's terrible and play bad, and even the people outside of this saying he's a good quarterback. So let's support our team. Let's press real hard, and let's get this daggone 6 this year. You feel me? And shut these boys up and get back to where we're supposed to be, on top. You see that star? You see the star right there? You wear the star. That's why we're the star. Stars rise, they shine. And that's what we need to do this year. We need to shine on these boys. And I believe if we just continue to keep the faith, if we continue to back our boys like no other, this could be a year it could possibly happen, and we can shut up those naysayers. How about them daggone Cowboys, yo?
Salute, bro.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So
yes, indeed.
Thank you, everybody who tuned in today for the Silver and Blue. Big Game James, Law Nation, please continue to like and subscribe to Silver and Blue Nation page. It's been blowing up like no other. We've been getting subscriptions like crazy, and I appreciate everybody who's liked and subscribed to us. But continue. We need to continue support financially, spiritually, mentally, and guess what? We can't do this grind without y'all. Okay, you guys make this possible, not us. I mean, we can sit there all day, me and Law can talk, but it's you guys that actually bring us up. It's you guys that come in here and make it for us. So continue to support, so we can continue to bring the best content for the Cowboys fans out there. All right.
How you doing, guys?
So that being said, Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, Law Nation, freestyling, buck wilding. We'll talk to you soon. We love you. Peace.
Remember, you're listening to nothing but the best.
I needed that. All right, y'all. We'll holla.